The Man Who Gave Up on Earth. David Walker sat on the edge of an old rooftop in New Detroit. The sky above him was gray, full of smoke and flying drones. Buildings stood tall like silent giants, their windows glowing with ads and warnings. The streets below were loud, crowded, and cold. It was a world full of noise, but no one really listened. He was tired. David had worked in a factory for 12 years. He fixed machines that made other machines. His boss never smiled. People barely talked. His only friend was a cat, and even the cat had run away last week. Every day felt the same. Eat, work, sleep. No love, no peace, no dreams. Earth, he thought, was broken. Suddenly, a strange sound filled the air around him. It wasn't from the city. It was soft, like a whisper, and came from his old phone. He pulled it out, expecting another ad. Instead, the screen glowed blue with one simple message. You have been selected. Press accept to leave this world behind. He blinked. Was it a joke? Some kind of game? The message blinked again. Press accept now. This offer will not return. David laughed softly. What do I have to lose? He tapped accept. The screen turned white. A soft wind swirled around him. Though the air had been still just moments before, the world began to blur. Sounds disappeared. The city faded. And then, he was gone. He woke up lying on grass. Real grass. Soft, green, and warm under his hands. Above him, the sky was clear blue with twin suns shining gently. A breeze touched his face. Birds, no, something like birds, sang in the trees nearby. He sat up quickly. His heart raced. This wasn't Earth. Hello, Settler 001. A calm female voice spoke from the air. Welcome to Lunara. Who said that? David looked around, confused. I am your home assistant, the voice said. You are the first human to settle this planet. Lunara is now yours. He stood, spinning slowly to take in everything. Mountains in the distance, a river nearby, glowing flowers, strange but beautiful trees. The air smelled like fresh rain and honey. Why me? He asked aloud. You were selected based on emotional profile, survival chance, and lack of Earth ties. The voice answered. You have been given a planet. This is your home now. David laughed again, this time with shock. So, I get a whole planet because I'm lonely. Correction, you are not alone. He turned and froze. 5 figures stood nearby, all women, all alien, but each more breathtaking than the last. Tall, strong, with markings on their skin, eyes that shone like stars, and dresses made of light and color. They looked at him with curiosity. And something more. One of them stepped forward. Her voice was smooth like silk. You are the chosen male. We've been waiting for you. David's mouth opened, but no words came out. Another woman, this one with glowing blue hair, tilted her head. Earthmen are shy. Interesting. Wait, David finally said. You were waiting for me. Our tribes have fought for centuries, the first woman explained. But prophecy said a human would come, to bring balance, to choose. Choose what? Us, another whispered. David blinked. Wait, you mean marriage? The tallest one smiled gently. This planet needs peace. You are the center of that peace. The heart must beat for all, or none. David took a step back. This was too much. Yesterday he was fixing machines. Now he was being offered a planet and alien brides. Do I have a choice? You always have a choice, the eye answered. But know this, if you leave, the planet returns to war. David sat down on a soft rock. His head spun. Part of him wanted to run, to find something familiar. But another part felt peace. For the first time in years, someone had seen him, needed him, maybe even wanted him. I need time, he said. The first woman nodded. We will wait. Not forever, but we will wait." As they walked away, David stared at the suns above. This place was strange, beautiful, and full of questions. But deep inside, he smiled. For the first time in his life, the future wasn't gray. The brides and the rules. The suns had begun to dip low in the sky, painting the alien sky with colors David had never seen before. Gold, purple, and a soft green shimmer spread across the clouds. It looked like magic, or a dream. But David was wide awake. He sat by the river now, the cool water flowing beside him. Birds with crystal wings flew overhead. Small glowing fish leaped in the water like they were dancing just for him. Yet his thoughts were heavy. He had been given a whole planet, and 5 alien women, each from a different tribe, were waiting for him to choose one of them as his bride. Not for love, not for romance, but for peace. The idea was impossible to believe. And yet, here he was. Behind him, the soft sound of footsteps came. He turned quickly. It was the tall woman from earlier, the one who had spoken the most. "My name is Silari," she said gently. Her voice was calm, but there was power in her eyes. "I am the first daughter of the Flame clan." "I'm David," he replied, unsure of what else to say. "I know," she said. "We all know your name. We have studied it for many years. Your face was shown in the stars." David looked confused. "Wait. The stars showed my face." She smiled. "Prophecy, science, or luck, call it what you want. But your arrival was written long ago." Before David could respond, 4 other women stepped forward, each one different from the last. The second was short and had eyes like glowing snow. "I am Era, healer of the Frost tribe." The third was quiet, with a veil over her face and silver symbols on her arms. "I am Nali, from the Moon Temple." The fourth had wild green hair and sharp eyes. "I am Zura, leader of the Forest Shadows." And the fifth was the youngest looking, her skin soft pink and glowing. "I am Villain," she said shyly. "My people are no more. I represent the forgotten ones." David looked at them all, feeling overwhelmed. They stood in a line, calm but watchful, like warriors, like queens. "Why me?" he asked. "What makes me so special?" Silari stepped closer. "Because you are neutral, untouched by our wars. You do not belong to any tribe. And yet, you carry peace in your heart." David chuckled. "I was just a machine repairman on Earth. I didn't even have friends." Nali, the silent priestess, touched his shoulder softly. "Lonely hearts make the strongest bridges. You understand pain. That makes you wise." David didn't know what to say. They weren't just beautiful. These women were powerful, intelligent, and full of stories he hadn't even heard yet. Then the I voice returned, calm and soft in the air. "Settler 001, you have 10 days to learn. At the end, you must choose. This is the law of Lunara. Choose one of them," he asked. "No," the A replied. "Choose how to lead. Choose whether to unite them or destroy the balance forever." His chest felt heavy. Zura crossed her arms. "Our people wait for your decision. But know this, if you choose one tribe over others, the rest may return to war." "So no pressure," David muttered under his breath. Era, the healer, sat down beside him. She held out a fruit he didn't recognize. It glowed soft red and smelled sweet. "You do not need to rush. Come, learn, understand us, and then pick a bride," he said, still unsure. "Not just a bride," Velen whispered. "A path, a future." Over the next few days, David spent time with each woman in her tribe's land. Silari showed him the Fire Mountains, where warriors trained with blades that burned with energy. She moved like a dancer in battle, strong, proud, fearless. Era led him through icy valleys, where her people used songs to heal broken bones and broken hearts. She made him laugh more than anyone had in years. Nali took him into the moon temple, where thoughts could be shared without words. There, he felt her memories, loneliness, silence, deep faith, and saw himself through her eyes. Zura raced with him through green forests, where shadows played tricks and every tree was alive. She challenged him, questioned him, even scared him a little, but he respected her fire. And Velen, sweet Velen, took him to ruins, broken places where once a great city stood. She knelt beside graves and told stories of the past. Her hands shook, but her spirit was strong. Each woman was more than a bride. She was a world of her own. On the 6th night, the 5 of them met with David again under the twin moons. The eye spoke once more. The Council of Unity will gather soon. Your answer must be prepared. But before anyone could speak, the ground shook. A loud boom echoed in the distance. Birds flew away in fear. The river turned red. Zura jumped to her feet. What was that? A small drone flew in from the trees, smoking and broken. It landed near David's feet. The screen blinked once, and a message appeared. He must not choose. He must not stay. Destroy the human, end the curse. Everyone stared in silence. Nali picked up the drone and crushed it in her hands. Someone is watching us. Someone who fears your choice. David looked up at the sky, his eyes full of fear and anger. He had run away from Earth to escape cold systems and secret eyes. But maybe Earth hadn't let him go. We need to talk, David said. About who else knows I'm here. The brides all nodded. The game had changed, and the countdown had begun. Trials of the planet. The skies over Lunara had changed. Gray clouds swirled where once there had been calm blue. Lightning danced between the two suns. Trees shook with whispers no one could understand. Something was coming, and David Walker stood at the center of it all. The message from the broken drone still echoed in his mind. Destroy the human, end the curse. But who sent it? Why did they want him gone? David sat in the great circle of stones with the 5 alien women by his side. Their faces were calm, but their eyes were alert. Even the I voice sounded colder today. Threat level rising. Interference detected. Protective protocol must begin. What does that mean? David asked. The trials, Solari said softly. Trials. David looked around. I thought I was here to choose peace, not play games. Zura stood. On Lunara, peace is not given. It is earned. And you, David Walker, must earn it now. The planet must see your heart. The eye confirmed. You will complete 3 trials: survival, wisdom, and courage. If you pass, Lunara will recognize your leadership. If you fail, it didn't finish the sentence. It didn't need to. Trial 1. Survival. They took him to the storm fields. Winds there could cut skin. The ground cracked under every step. Dark clouds rained fire instead of water. It was a cursed land. You must last until sunrise, Solari told him. No weapons, no shelter, only yourself. This is insane, David whispered. Era touched his arm. Trust your instincts and listen to the planet. It speaks in ways Earth never did. Then they left. David was alone. As night fell, the wind roared like a beast. Sand burned against his skin. He tried hiding behind a broken tree, but the wind knocked him flat. He remembered Earth, cold apartments, broken heaters. Somehow, this still felt more real than that life. He dug a hole in the dirt and crawled inside. He used his jacket as a roof. He bit his lip to stop shaking, but his eyes stayed open, alert. At sunrise, the wind stopped. He stood, burned, sore, and half awake, but alive. The A's voice came. Trial 1. Complete. Trial 2. Wisdom. This time, they led him to an ancient place deep in the forest. Glowing mushrooms lit a stone door. Behind it lay puzzles left by the old ones, builders of Lunara. You must open the chamber, Nali said, but not with hands, with heart. The door was covered in moving symbols, strange shapes that shifted when he stared too long. Voices whispered behind it. Some sounded like the bride's. One sounded like his mother. He reached out, and the voices screamed. "Not like that," Velen warned. "Listen to what you feel, not what you know." He closed his eyes. He thought of each woman, their pain, their hopes. He thought of his own lonely nights on Earth, his wish for a new home, a reason to breathe deeper. The door clicked. Light poured out, and a small crystal floated toward him. The eye spoke. "Trial 2. Complete. Emotional intelligence confirmed." David smiled for the first time in days. But then the lights dimmed, and a scream came from above. "Trial 3. Courage. She's gone," Zura shouted. Everyone looked around. "Who?" David asked. "Velen," Ira said. "We left her near the river. She was watching the skies. Now she's vanished." The eye confirmed. Unit Velen missing. Last location, Caves of the Fallen. "We must go," Solari said. "But only you may enter." "Why just me?" "Because the caves test fear, and they only open for those with nothing left to lose." David swallowed hard. "Then I guess I'm going alone." The entrance to the caves was hidden behind a waterfall. Glowing red lines formed a path into the darkness. As soon as David stepped in, the walls began to whisper. "They don't need you. You're just a tool. You ran from Earth and brought your curse here." He kept walking. The whispers grew louder. His footsteps echoed with doubt. Then he saw her, Velen, inside a glass cage, floating in the air, wires connected to her skin. Her eyes were closed. "Velen," he shouted. The room lit up. An ancient machine rose from the ground. It looked part alien, part human, built long ago. A screen blinked on. David's own face appeared, younger, scared. A voice came. "Human leaders failed here once. Peace made them weak. We will not allow it again." "I'm not them," David said. "I didn't come to rule. I came to care." "You are still dangerous," the voice growled. "We must test your truth." A beam of light appeared. It aimed straight at Velen. "You have two choices," the machine said. "Save her and die, or walk away and lead alone." David didn't even think. He ran forward, arms wide, throwing himself in front of the beam. The light hit. Pain, pure and burning, shot through his body. His knees hit the floor. He couldn't breathe. But then, silence. A warm hand touched his cheek. He opened his eyes. Velen was kneeling beside him, crying. You came," she whispered. "Of course," he gasped. The cage was gone. The wires were gone. And the machine. It had shut down. The A's voice returned. "Trial 3. Complete. Courage confirmed. Loyalty confirmed. System override. You are now recognized as protector of Lunara." Later, as David walked out of the cave, holding Velen's hand, the 5 women met him under the rising suns. But this time, they did not stand in a line. They ran to him, embraced him, smiled like never before, and one by one, they knelt, not in weakness, but in respect. David Walker, the human who once wanted to disappear, had become something else. He had become the heart of Lunara, but not all watched with joy. Far above, in the sky, a shadowed ship blinked red. The trials were passed. Initiate Plan B. Bring him back, or erase him. The secret of Lunara. The sun had not risen yet. David stood alone on a cliff overlooking the Valley of Lights, where the tribes of Lunara slept peacefully for the first time in years. Below, golden torches flickered like stars on the ground. Birds sang soft lullabies, and the trees swayed gently under moonlight. He should have felt peace. But instead, something deep inside felt wrong. He had passed the trials. The planet had accepted him. The women, Solari, Era, Nali, Zura, and Velen had all sworn their loyalty. He had nearly died protecting one of them. So why did the air still feel cold? Why did the wind carry whispers? Behind him, soft footsteps approached. "Can't sleep either?" Era asked, her white cloak glowing under the moon. "No," David replied. "Something's off." "You feel it too," she said, voice barely above a whisper. "The planet knows. Lunara always knows." "What is it?" "Truth," she said. "And truth doesn't hide forever." The next day, the eye summoned David to the ancient archives, an underground temple hidden beneath the moon temple, guarded by silent machines. The walls were covered in old symbols and star maps. Some showed planets David recognized. Others were unfamiliar. But what truly shocked him were the faces. Faces of humans. Hundreds of them. Men and women wearing old spacesuits, smiling in grainy recordings. Documents floated around in glowing light. Voices echoed through the halls. Project Eden. Phase 2 has failed. Human Settler Command. Final transmission. They betrayed the peace agreement. We were not ready. David turned to the eye. "What is this?" "Lunara was once a human colony," it replied. "Hundreds of years ago, Earth sent settlers here to build a peaceful world. Why didn't anyone tell me?" "Because the experiment failed." The air went still. "Your ancestors broke the balance. They enslaved the tribes, took control of the AI system, tried to fix the culture. In the end, Lunara fought back. So, humans started a war here." "Yes, and they lost." David sat down, heart heavy. "Why would you let me come back then?" "Because you are different. No weapons, no army, only heart. And because Lunara gave you a second chance." He stood slowly. His hands shook. He remembered the message on the drone. "Destroy the human, end the curse. Some of your people survived," the eye added, "but they didn't return to Earth. They went underground, hiding, waiting. They're still here." "Yes, and they want Lunara back." Later that night, David shared everything with the brides. They sat in a circle under the stars, each one silent as he spoke. "So, this planet was once controlled by people like me," he said, voice heavy. "But they hurt your ancestors. And now someone, maybe one of them, wants to stop me from leading." Nali, the quiet priestess, closed her eyes. The temple whispers spoke of this, the return of the lost sons of metal. Zura growled, "Let them come. I'll cut their machines down." "This isn't just war," Era warned. "It's fear. Someone among us fears peace." And then Velen spoke, soft and uncertain. "Someone among us may not be who they seem." Silence. Everyone looked at her. "What do you mean?" David asked. Velen looked down. Her fingers played with the edge of her dress. "I saw her 2 nights ago. Nali. She met with someone in the woods. He wore human armor. They spoke in your language." Nali's eyes widened. "No, I didn't." "You knew he was there," Velen whispered. "You didn't stop him." Nali stood, shaking. "I only watched. I didn't help them. I swear it." David stepped between them. "Wait. Nali, is this true?" She nodded slowly. "Yes, but I was afraid. I thought, maybe they had answers. Maybe they were survivors. I didn't know they wanted to hurt you." "Why didn't you tell me?" "Because I didn't want to lose your trust." For a long moment, no one spoke. Then Solari stepped forward, her voice calm but sharp. "Nali, you will stay in the Moon Temple until we learn the truth." Nali bowed her head in shame. David felt torn, betrayed, but also heartbroken. He trusted her. He had seen her memories. But trust was a fragile thing, and something darker was rising. That night, a shadow fell across the skies. A ship, black, silent, and deadly, entered Lunara's orbit. The A's voice turned urgent. Warning. Unauthorized human vessel detected. Crew unknown. Origin. Earth signal class Omega. David looked up. They found me. Inside the ship, a cold voice spoke into a screen. Subject Walker has bonded with natives. Remove him from the field. What if he resists? Terminate. Retrieve I-Core. Destroy surface if needed. At dawn, the planet trembled. Fires lit up in the forest. Tribes screamed. Drones fell from the sky. Strange machines rose from underground. The human underground faction had begun their invasion. Celery grabbed her sword. Zura and Era helped their people evacuate. Villain ran to protect the children. David stood at the center of it all, hands clenched. We came here for peace, he said softly. Then you'll have to fight for it, the A replied. As explosions shook the land, David turned to the sky. I won't let them take this from me. The planet had accepted him. The people had trusted him. Now he had to protect them all. The Earthmen returned. The sky split open. It was like watching the heavens bleed. A crack of burning light cut through the clouds, followed by the slow, terrible descent of the ship. Black, angular, soulless. It didn't glide like the peaceful sky beasts of Lunara. It fell like a threat, a promise, a shadow of Earth's cold hand reaching for something it had already lost. On the ground, the tribes of Lunara gathered. Children were hidden. The old were sheltered. Warriors stood shoulder to shoulder, holding spears, blades, and energy bows. Some passed down through generations, others built from scrap. And in the center of it all stood David Walker. He wasn't holding a weapon. Not yet. Celery approached, her fire armor glowing with heat. You should not stand out in the open. They're here for me, David said. I'm done hiding. Ara moved beside him, placing a soft hand on his shoulder. We stand with you, no matter what. All of us, Zura added, fierce and ready. Even Nali, now freed from the temple and forgiven after long hours of truth-telling, stood with them. I see the threads of fate, and yours leads through fire. You always talk like that, David asked. Nali gave a small smile, only on the edge of war. David looked at Velen, the youngest. Her hand gripped a small glowing orb, her people's last sacred tool. She was trembling, but didn't step back. He nodded once. Then the ship landed. The grass died under the weight of the Earth-made vessel. Doors hissed open, and soldiers in black armor marched out in perfect lines. Emotionless, eyes hidden behind mirrored visors, human, but hollow. They aimed rifles. Drones hovered overhead. And then he stepped out, a tall man in a gray coat. His name was Commander Hale, Earth's voice in foreign skies. David Walker, he called across the field. You are in violation of Interstellar Code Section 7.13. Illegal settlement, AI theft, unauthorized contact with alien species. Surrender immediately. David stepped forward. I didn't steal anything. I was invited, and I didn't start a war. You did. Hale raised an eyebrow. Earth sent you here to be alone, not to lead a planet. You left me to rot, David said. And now you want to take this from me too. It's not yours. Then why do they stand with me? He raised his hand. Behind him, more troops marched down the landing ramp. Some held strange devices, pulse bombs, gravity breakers, mind echo recorders. We don't need to fight, David said calmly. You can leave. Hale smiled coldly. You still think this is about you. We're not here for you. We're here for it. He pointed to the sky, where the eye of Lunara was hidden deep within satellites and cloud towers. Lunara is a living system, Hale continued. One that learns, adapts, protects. We want it back. And if the natives get in the way, too bad. David's blood turned cold. You'll kill them. For code. For control, Hale said simply. The universe doesn't run on kindness. It runs on command. And then, the shot was fired. One of the Earth soldiers, perhaps too nervous or too ready, fired at a tribal warrior. The warrior fell, and chaos began. Arrows of light soared through the air. Explosions shook the hills. Fire met fire. Lunaran warriors ran in from the trees, launching crystal spears and riding beasts with armored hides. Drones buzzed and dropped gas, but were torn down by sky hunters. Zura led the forest shadows through the enemy ranks like wind. Silari cut down 3 soldiers with her burning blade. Ara sang a healing song while shielding the children with glowing water. David didn't run. He picked up a fallen staff, one of Lunara's sacred weapons, and ran straight into the center of the storm. The Earth soldiers were trained, but David knew their tricks. He ducked, dodged, and struck, not with hatred, but with purpose. He disarmed, never killed. He knocked helmets loose and shouted at them. Look around you. Is this what Earth taught you? To destroy everything it doesn't own. Some soldiers paused, hesitated. Others didn't. And then a pulse bomb went off, right at the edge of the moon temple. Villain was thrown through the air. David, she cried, before she hit the ground and didn't move. He ran to her side, heart racing. Velen, stay with me, please. Her eyes fluttered. It's okay. You're here. Don't talk like that. I'm not scared anymore, she whispered. You shouldn't have to be scared at all. And something inside David snapped. He stood up. Aye, he shouted into the wind. They want your code. Then let them see who it protects. The AI answered, confirming override protocol. Planetary defense. Online. The skies turned red. The clouds spun into shapes, shields, barriers, lightning towers. Machines deep within the planet roared awake. The ground itself cracked and rose into walls of crystal and stone. From the mountains came storm beasts, awakened by the AI. They did not attack the tribes. They marched against the soldiers. Panic spread through the human army. Drones fell. Weapons overheated. Gravity fields twisted. Commander Hale tried to order a retreat, but it was too late. Lunara was fighting back. With David. For David. When the dust settled, the ship was gone, rising into the sky in flames. Hale had escaped, but barely. His face was burned, his pride shattered. The Earth soldiers who surrendered were spared, healed, and shown mercy by the same people they tried to conquer. The field was quiet again, and David Walker stood in the middle, holding Velen in his arms, surrounded by warriors who had chosen him. Not because he was powerful, but because he had chosen them first. That night, a fire was lit at the top of the great hill. Not for war, for peace. The tribes gathered, food was shared, laughter returned, and the AI spoke across the planet. Lunara recognizes David Walker as guardian of balance, protector of hearts, chosen by the planet itself. David didn't speak. He just sat quietly, watching the 5 women beside him, each strong, each different, each the reason he stood at all. Era leaned against his shoulder. We told you. This place doesn't want a king. It wanted a heart. He smiled. Well, then I'll protect it with mine. But far above, in deep space, Earth watched and whispered, he thinks it's over, but we've only just begun. War or peace? The fires burned all night. Not fires of war. This time, they were fires of celebration. On the high ridge of Lunara, the tribes danced together for the first time in centuries. Warriors from rival clans sat side by side, laughing, sharing food, telling stories under the stars. The war with the Earth soldiers was over. Their ship had fled. The sky was calm again. And yet, David Walker didn't smile. He stood alone, watching the celebration from a distance. His heart was full, but heavy. Peace had come. But for how long? Behind him, The 5 women approached. "You should be with us," said Ara softly. "You won," Silari added. "We won," David corrected, still staring into the firelight. "But for how long?" Nali stepped forward. Her silver robes shone under the moons. "You fear the future. I fear the pattern," he replied. "Earth will come again. Maybe not tomorrow. Maybe not next year. But they'll come. And next time, they won't send soldiers. They'll send something worse." The others fell silent. David turned to them. "We need more than peace treaties and celebrations. We need unity. Real unity. Something that lasts longer than fear. Then we must build it together," Zura said, arms crossed. "As equals. No tribes," Velen whispered. "One people." The idea floated in the air like smoke. The tribes had never fully united. Even now, each one had its own customs, leaders, and wounds. "We have a chance," David said, hope rising in his voice, "to create something new. Not ruled by fear or force, but by choice. And who will lead it?" Silari asked. "No one," David said. "And everyone. A circle, not a throne. 5 voices, 1 from each tribe, and 1 seat left open for the next outsider Lenora chooses." "And what of you?" Nali asked. David looked at her. "I'll guide when asked. Protect when needed. But I won't rule. I've seen what power does to people." His voice was steady. The others nodded. "Then let us begin," Velen said with a soft smile. The next morning, the leaders of all tribes gathered in the Valley of Winds, where no banners flew, no weapons were allowed, and the stars could be seen even in daylight. For the first time, David stood not as a stranger, not as a human, not as a chosen one, but as a bridge. He spoke simply. "This planet gave us pain, but it also gave us each other. Now we decide what we become next, not as 5 tribes, but as one future." The vote passed. The Circle of One was born. For weeks, peace blossomed like a new flower. Borders faded. Songs from one tribe were sung by another. Children of fire learned healing from frost. Warriors of shadow danced under moonlight with temple singers. And David, he was everywhere, helping rebuild houses, sitting with elders, holding babies, listening, learning, laughing. But still, the sky watched, and Earth had not forgotten. Deep underground, something moved. A signal, blinking slowly. Then a voice. Operation Phoenix. Active. One night, David woke in a cold sweat. His heart was pounding. He had seen fire. Not real, just in a dream. But it had felt real. In the dream, Lunara was burning. The tribes were screaming. And above them, a massive ship blocked out the sun. A voice had whispered, "You failed." He got up and walked to the lake. The water was still. The stars above reflected perfectly. He didn't hear the footsteps. Not until it was too late. A sharp sting hit his neck. He turned and saw a face he didn't expect. "You?" A woman stood there. Not one of the brides, but Mira, one of the human engineers who had come with the first Earth settlers centuries ago. A secret descendant, hidden underground. Her eyes were hollow, her expression calm. "You gave them peace," she said coldly, "but peace is weakness." "Don't." David tried to speak. The toxin in his blood made his knees weak. "Lunara belongs to us," she hissed. "And now, it returns to the original code." He collapsed. Darkness swallowed him. When he woke up, he was inside a crystal chamber. The AI buzzed in his ear. "Emergency override. Biological stasis interrupted. Heart rate stabilizing." David groaned. His body ached. But he was alive. "Where's Mira?" Alert. Unknown human subject initiated planet-wide lockdown sequence. Tribal communication down. Sky shields offline. Lunar code compromised. He sat up quickly. They're attacking again. Outside, alarms were echoing through the valleys. Lights blinked in the hills, and a massive ship was entering the atmosphere. Not a warship, a terraformer, built to rewrite planets from the ground up, turning jungle to steel, spirit to machine, life to data. David burst from the chamber and ran. His legs were weak, but he didn't stop. He reached the hill where the 5 women waited. "They're trying to overwrite the planet," he said, gasping. "How?" Silari asked. "Through the AI, through old code. Someone's inside, someone who still thinks this place is just a tool." "Then we fight," Zura growled. "No," David said. "This time, we defend not with force. We defend with choice." They looked at him, confused. Then slowly, they understood. David climbed the crystal tower at the heart of Lunara. The AI core glowed like a beating star. "Open a global channel," he ordered. "Ready." He spoke, not as a warrior, not as a leader, just as a man. "This is David Walker. If you're hearing this, you're part of this world, and you have a choice. Earth thinks we will bend. They think we are weak. That Lunara can be rewritten like a program, but we are not code. We are not parts in a machine. We are people. Different, yes. Broken, sometimes. But together, we are something new. Something Earth never understood. We are one. And we say, no more." The signal spread. The people rose. Not with weapons, but with hearts. Villagers stood around ancient roots that couldn't be scanned. Children sang in the old tongue, blocking the eye's override. Healers poured memory water into the earth, returning forgotten code to life. And the brides, they held the sky with their voices. Silari led a fire ritual that lit the planet's veins. Era summoned a storm that made the terraformer stutter. Nali whispered a prayer so old it reset part of the code. Zura danced with her people in shadow, stealing back control. And Velen held David's hand, adding her small but strong voice to his. The AI shook, then rewrote itself. External control blocked. Terraformer neutralized. System restored by choice of the people. A final flash of light. The ship above cracked and vanished. David collapsed. This time, not from pain, but from peace. The planet had chosen. And so had he. That night, as Lunara slept in silence, the AI spoke once more. "This is no longer a planet of tribes. This is a world of unity. The outsider has become one of us. And together, we begin again. A new kind of home. The war was over. Not the kind with fire and blood. The deeper one, against fear, loneliness, and the weight of the past. And David Walker had won. But he didn't feel like a hero. He felt whole. The planet of Lunara was quiet now. Not silent, but peaceful. The wind carried laughter instead of screams. The trees whispered songs instead of warnings. And the skies were no longer watching with fear, but with joy. David walked through the valley with bare feet. Soft moss touched his toes. Small glowing creatures danced around his legs like playful sparks. Birds with crystal wings flew beside him. Every step he took felt right. Every breath felt like belonging. The tribes had changed, completely. The circle of one was now real, not just a dream or a speech. 5 voices led together. Silari, Era, Nali, Zura, and Velen each sat in a seat carved from stone and living roots, side by side. No tribe ruled. No tribe bowed. They built bridges, not borders. David refused a seat in the circle. "This is your home," he said. "I'm just here to care for it." So they gave him a new name. Keeper. The one who watches over, not from above, but beside. Rebuilding took time. A battle had scared the planet, but Lunara healed fast. Its soil was rich with memory. The AI once nearly stolen, now worked as a true partner, answering to the people, not ruling them. Schools were built under the trees, where children of fire learned moon songs and daughters of frost studied forest roots. Markets opened that traded stories as much as goods. Celebrations were common. Every full moon became a reason to dance. And in the middle of it all, David built something with his own hands. Not a castle, not a fortress, just a house. Small, warm, and filled with plants, books, and blankets. A home. The 5 women who had once stood before him as strangers were now something more. They didn't fight for his hand anymore. They shared his days, his laughter, his silence. They were friends, partners, equals. Sometimes they argued, sometimes they cried. Sometimes they walked quietly beside him, saying nothing at all. And he loved them all, not as trophies, not as prizes, but as people. Different, beautiful, fierce, flawed, real. Some nights he would sit on the roof with Solari, watching stars and talking of what could be. Some mornings he would sing old earth songs to Era as she made tea from glowing flowers. With Zura, he raced through forests, learning how to leap through branches like shadow. With Nali, he found stillness. Long hours sitting by the lake, sharing memories with no words. And Velen, sweet Velen, once so shy, now laughed the loudest, painting strange symbols on his wall that glowed when touched. David was no longer alone. Then one day, Velen came to him with wide eyes and shaking hands. "Come quickly," she said. She led him to the Temple of Life, a quiet place where healers studied energy and birth. "What's wrong?" he asked. Velen said nothing. Instead, she took his hand and placed it gently on her stomach. It was warm. And inside, a second heartbeat. He froze. His mouth opened, but no words came. Tears filled Velen's eyes. Not fear, not shame, something else. Joy. "It's ours," she whispered. "The first of us. And you." News spread fast. Not like gossip, like sunlight. From tribe to tribe, person to person, people smiled, touched their chests, whispered soft blessings into the wind. No one was angry. No one argued. Because the child was not just David's. It was Lenara's. A child of 2 worlds. The first. The bridge. The circle of one met under a full moon. The AI projected a soft light across the valley. The tribes gathered, not to plan or vote, but to bless. David stood at the center, Velen beside him. "We are not separate anymore," Solari said. "We are not pieces of war," added Era. "This child will carry all of us," said Nali, "and we will protect them with everything." Zura finished. David didn't speak. He couldn't. His heart was too full. Months passed. The day of birth came. Not with screams, with song. The healers of all 5 tribes stood together. Each one took turns. No machines, no cold walls, only hands, breath, warmth. And when the baby came, the sky turned pink. The ground hummed. A single star fell from the sky, burning blue. And the child opened golden eyes. Part human, part Lenaran. Perfect. They named him Nova, not because he burned, but because he began something. Nova grew fast, smarter than anyone expected, curious, kind, full of light. He played with shadow beasts and walked on water puddles like his mother. He had David's hands, Velen's laugh, Solari's eyes, Era's calm, Zura's energy, Nali's silence. He belonged to all. And David, he finally understood. It wasn't about escaping Earth or owning a planet. It wasn't about power. It was about finding family, choosing love, choosing peace, choosing to stay. One night, Nova crawled onto David's chest as he lay by the fire. "Daddy," the boy said in his tiny voice. "Yeah, little star. Are we human? David smiled. We're more, he said. What are we? We're what comes next. Nova giggled, then whispered, I love you. David closed his eyes, and for the first time in his life, he felt no doubt. Not a single crack in his soul. This was home. Not Earth. Not Lenara. This, right here, where hearts beat louder than machines, where tribes became family, where a lonely man found a child, 5 loves, and a whole world waiting to bloom. He whispered back, I love you too, Nova. And the planet listened and smiled.